So when it comes to killing someone, what's more satisfying than ripping someone's head out of their ass? Not much more, to be honest. The Darkness 2. The Darkness 2 is a 2012 sequel to the first Darkness game. It's created by 2K Studios and it's a psychological horror FPS action kind of game. The story follows the character Jackie, and what he is an Italian hitman. He goes out and he kills people for the mob. You know, he's kind of this grunged out, long hair, kind of I don't give a fuck attitude. In the first game, in case you haven't played it, and this isn't a spoiler alert, it happens at the very beginning of the game, and if you played the Darkness 2, it'll tell you from the get-go what happens. There's actually a what happened previously movie cutscene that you can choose to watch. Anyway, in the first one, you get consumed by the darkness. Now what the darkness is, it's like a demonic presence that's come over history. It entraps itself into hosts, which are usually warriors, fighters, stuff of this sort, killers, people who are meant for battle, because the darkness needs to harness human hearts to grow and expand. Anyway, in the first game, Jackie and his girlfriend Jenny, who they're supposed to be star-crossed lovers, you know, everyone says they're meant for each other, it's great. In the first one, bad stuff happens, and Jenny is put in a situation by another group of mobsters that she's going to be killed. Anyway, Jackie tries to go save Jenny, but is unable to because the darkness doesn't allow him, and there you go. For the first one, you have your general, your typical, let's go and get revenge on the people who killed Jenny kind of thing. Anyway, first one's ended, the second one comes around. Jackie's been suppressing the darkness for a couple of years now. It's been two or 3 years since the death of Jenny and since he got his revenge. And so he suppressed the darkness, he's all good. You know, he's got money, life moves on. He's still, you know, stricken with sadness because of Jenny's death. But you know what? He's got money, he's got women, he's got his, you know, his pals, his mobsters. He's living a glorious mansion. It's all great. Good for Jackie. He's out one night at dinner talking to these two beautiful broads. You know, they're like, oh, let's fuck, basically. Anyway, a car comes, shoots one of the broads in the head, and boom, Jackie is almost assassinated. And to survive that ordeal in which, you know, he's getting shot at, he needs to once again release the darkness. And now, once again, you have your typical, let's go kill the people who set out to kill me kind of thing. It's a mob story, basically. Now, this game deviates a little bit from the first one if you've played the first one. The first one was a lot more RPG, not open world, but you could make a lot of decisions by yourself in that game. You know, you could choose different paths in the game. This one's a lot more linear. You know, you gotta follow a set pace to it. You gotta follow this storyline. There's not many more side missions and stuff. They do have after the game you can play basically it's like a vendetta mode in which you choose one of 4 hosts that are also infected with the darkness, and you basically go out and do the same shit. You kill people. I don't like it, to be honest. It takes away from the game. The game is an amazing story because it was written originally as a comic book. So, you know, the game style of it, the graphics in it are very comic booky. The characters are very well written. Jackie, his accent, you know, his Italiano accent, you know, he has this kind of, you know, sly, cool, cunning, you know, feel to him. He's a really cool character. I definitely recommend you at least try out the game to just see him. His monologues are just, they're dark, but they're funny. They're really well written. So are all the characters. You know, you've got your one friend who's like this, hey Jackie, how you doing? You know, this kind of like best friend kind of bodyguard kind of character. And there's also another character that's very, you know, stuttery, kind of fidgety, doesn't know what he's doing much, very mentally insecure, and you find out that that's because of the presence of the darkness. And yeah, the characters, and Jenny as well in this one. Even though she died in the first one, she makes a huge appearance. She's one of the main characters in the darkness too, I'd say. You know, she constantly, memories of Jenny constantly haunt him, and he's, you know, he doesn't know what to do. He's inflicted. He's a character that's inflicted. He wants to move past Jenny, but he can't because, you know, he's stuck in this. And the darkness, of course, tortures him through this. You know, he's saying, you know, you gotta get over her, forget her. She's trying to distract us, and he's like, you know, I can't. And even I personally haven't played the first one. I haven't played the first Darkness, but in the Darkness too, you know, from the very first half an hour, they definitely make that you know, Jenny was the love of your life kind of thing. These bastards killed her. You gotta go save her. You know, not save her. You should have saved her. You gotta go get revenge for what happened to her. They hit that home. And when you're like I said, when you're ripping a guy in half from his ass up, you know, just ripping him to shreds, it definitely feels like, fuck you, man. For Jenny. Yeah, I liked it. Anyway, The Darkness 2. So, the gameplay is very similar to the first one. You can quad wheel. That's right. 4 weapons. You can use 2 single-hand pistols or, you know, assault rifle, whatever. And you also got your darkness tentacle things. Now, the ones used for grappling and for, you know, ripping stuff out, grappling stuff, grabbing items, all that fun stuff. The other one over your right shoulder is meant for hacking, slashing, you know. This one's going to grab an enemy, this one's going to pull him by the other legs and rip him to shreds. Or, you know, this one's going to hold him, this one's going to go into his sphincter, which is his ass, grab his brain and rip it out. It's beautiful. I love it. Yeah, that's basically the gameplay style of it. You know, you have your guns, you have your, you know, normal pistols, you got your shotguns, you got your assault rifles, all that fun stuff. Personally, I would go with the 2-hand just pistols and stuff, because really you're not going to be relying that much on weapons. You're going to be relying on the darkness because it's your ultimate power. Weapons, however, are useful as in, you know, taking out lights, because it's the darkness and you stay in the dark. This game definitely punishes you from deviating from, you know, the darkness. You know, if you go out into the light, there's a light or whatever, make sure that you take that light out before you go into the area and try to kill any enemies, because if not, your tentacles will recede and you won't be able to regain health and all that fun stuff. And you regain health by using your tentacles to rip out their hearts, thus feeding the darkness. Other than that, you know, gameplay wise, it's very smooth. Like I said, the graphics, they're very comic booky, which is different from the first one. The first one definitely had more of a gothic, dark feel to it. This one's definitely more vibrant, comic book style. You know, the characters, it depends if you like that. Personally, I like that. I'm looking at the characters and they look like they're from a comic book. My friends played the game and he's like, they look like they've been, you know, drawn on with like little crayons, and it's not very good. Personally, the graphics don't matter to me. I think that the graphics should suit the story, and from a comic book game, I think it definitely does suit the story. Yeah, that's basically it for The Darkness 2. I mean, I personally enjoy the game. I'm not done yet. I enjoy the game. I enjoy the quad wielding. I enjoy the storyline. I enjoy the amazing, well-spoken characters. You can tell that 2K definitely put a lot of time into making these characters who they are. They, you know, to have this cool, kind of sly, dark protagonist, to have Jenny, the love of his life, you know, the goodness, the light inside of him, and to have these characters that are, you know, running around, interacting with him. It's definitely a good game. I totally recommend it. If I'm going to be giving it a rating, I'm going to have to say a solid 7 out of 10. Maybe even an 8 out of 10. You should, if you're not going to buy this game, at least rent it, although you should buy it now because it's been released for about a year, so the price has dropped down significantly. You can probably get it for 30, 20 bucks. So yeah, definitely go get it. I don't know how it is play on consoles, but on the PC, again, you can jack up your graphics settings, and it's a 2012 game. It's one of the best games of 2012, I'd have to say. Yeah, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this makes your decision on what games to get better, and yeah, see you next time.